This is why you should never let your children watch Disney movies or Cartoon Network or any of the Western produced cartoons and movies that are so absolutely popular but so harming and damaging to your children. Let me explain. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is to all the parents who think that educating your children by letting them watch Disney movies or any of these Cartoon Network cartoons or stuff coming from the Western media or produced in the West, if you think you are educating them with modern information and value, then you might be just actually doing the opposite. You are miseducating them and educating them with Western values full of shirk. Yes, the movies, actually, the most important thing is not for you to worry about the LGBTQ or the music, mesmerizing satanic music, or the satanic plots and the satanic characters which are actually elevated to make them look like the heroes of the movies. The very characters in those movies that you think are actually the heroes are probably the worst role models for your children when they grow up or even while they are growing up. And honestly, the least thing that you need to worry about is matters like LGBTQ or the vulgar way they are dressed and they are characterized, and the vulgar romantic scripts or dialogues or songs. Those are the least things that actually you need to worry about. What you need to be worried about the most is the shirk that is being instilled in their hearts when they're at this tender age of 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever the age that they are. These are the age groups that they're targeting. And especially those of you who are pro-Palestine or anti-Israel, you must realize that 95 or more % of the producers and the script writers and the characters, the movie actors or the voices, they're all Jewish. They're all practicing Kabbalah or some kind of black magic or some kind of, according to their own religion, it is haram, if you go back to the teachings of Musa alayhi salam and the Torah. That's why they follow the Talmud. And these are the, media productions in the form of movies and especially cartoons that they produce to pollute and corrupt and indoctrinate the children, because they are the future of the society. And this is what they want. This is what Shaitan wants. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us and asks us, gives us the indication of taking protection from the shayateen al-ins, the human shayateen, and the shayateen al-jins. The amount of shirk that is in these movies, in these cartoons, is phenomenal. It's astronomical and it's preposterous. It's something that you should actually be working hard to protect your children. I'm not only talking about just Muslim children or Muslim families. This is throughout the whole world, whoever's children that they are. And I know of a lot of Christians who are even remotely morally stable are actually realizing this in the West. And I've seen so many such videos of such, non-Muslims who are talking about these things nowadays. So we having all the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the righteous generations and the ulama, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala having preserved our deen like no other deen in this dunya, in the history of mankind. If we are going to be exposing our children to such kind of evil or such kind of corruption, then who are we to complain about Israel or the atrocities taking place in the world and the Palestine and all these issues? You cannot even take care of your own children at home. You cannot even protect your own family at home from the evils of this, society, which is so rampant, especially on the devices that you leave your children without being monitored or without any kind of supervision. And then you worry about when they grow up and they get involved into some horrific acts of, vulgarity or corruption. And especially because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi, that a person is on the deen of his friend. So if he is befriending these movies, these movie characters, even the Marvel Avengers, characters, all of them are full of shirk. The last Marvel movie that I happened to watch to look into what exactly it's all about, because I, as a child, used to read Marvel comics, when I was in Jahiliyyah, at the time of Jahiliyyah. I would not even allow my children to look at those today, because they are so full of shirk. They are so full of shirk, those characters. Each and every one of them. You know, whether it's Spider-Man or the guy who's, making some kind of a portal with his hands, opening some portals, and then Thor, who's actually depicted as a god, and other characters, which is inhumane, and they are at a pedestal. They're raised to a level of gods, like how the different kinds of gods and that we find actually even today in the Hindu and pagan mythology. All these characters actually come from there. They are the gods that they used to worship. They have built them in the form of these fantastic cartoon characters and entertaining to the children and even to the adults. And everybody is so indulged and involved in it and not bothered about all the shirk that is being committed, which is actually worse than even having zina with your own mother. This is how deep and how serious this matter is. Let alone all the vulgarity and LGBTQ and defaming the Muslims and Islam in those movies, with subliminal messages. The shirk is rampant and we don't realize and we don't protect our children from this. Where are we heading? Are we preparing our children for a better akhirah, or are we preparing our children for the worst of consequences in this dunya and in the akhirah? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and you and all the people and protect our children. They are innocent, whether they're Muslims or they're not, from Muslim family or not. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all the children of this world and guide them and guide us.